One of my Twitter followers sent me this really practical weather question last week. I love it. He wants to know what degree days are and why they show up on his energy bill. That's what I'm answering in this week's Heather's Weather Wise. A degree day is sort of an odd name, but it's a way to keep tabs on temperature trends and energy usage for different regions across the United States. Here's how it's defined mathematically. It's always taken as the difference between the 24-hour average temperature and a standard constant 65 degrees. So if you took 65 minus an example of a 24-hour average of 53 degrees, you would have 12 heating degree days. If, say, the 24-hour average was 70 degrees, you would subtract 65 and end up with 5 cooling degree days, with the idea being that if the average is above 65 degrees, you're going to run your air conditioning, and if the average is below 65 degrees, you might run your heat. Here's a map of average cooling degree days by census region. Shouldn't be too big of a surprise that there are far more cooling degree days in places like the West South Central or the South Atlantic. By comparison, where we are, the Middle Atlantic, we only have about 650 of those cooling degree days a year, so energy companies would assume that in the summer, there's going to be a bigger power demand in the warmer states. Conversely, the northern regions have far more heating degree days during the cold season. That's something for gas companies to pay attention to. Here's a look at 30-year average heating degree days for us in Buffalo. Shouldn't be a surprise here, too, that we've got a ton of them in January, almost none, though, during our summer months. But check out our cooling degree days. Not a whole lot during the winter months, but comparatively speaking, not a whole lot during the summer, at least when you compare to the heating degree days in the winter. A sign that, sure enough, in western New York, we have pretty mild summers and pretty cold winters. Let's take it one step further for those that are interested in more of the climatological aspect of things. Here's a look at our actual measured heating degree days over the past 10 years. Now keep in mind it's relatively small sample size, but the trend over the past 10 years is for our heating degree days to go down. Meanwhile, our cooling degree days in the summer, they're rising just a bit, a sign that temperatures year-round may be coming up over the past decade. Keep in mind the degree day system isn't a perfect way to predict your energy bill, but it is an easy way for the power companies to be able to do just that. It doesn't take into account different energy efficiency solutions like insulation or different kinds of lighting. You can also use degree days to track growing seasons and pest swarms as we get into the warmer season as well. That'll do it for this week's edition of Heather's Weather Wise. I'll see you next week with a new topic, but until then, remember, it's good to be a geek.